Newbie New York Democrat Representative Alexandria Occasio-Cortez thinks Keystone XL pipeline has had a major leak. But like with hate crimes, apparently the supply of oil-related disasters just doesn't seem to be meeting the demand these days. Honestly, folks, I've been doing my very best to avoid the Alexandria Occasio-Cortez vortex. She's really just so crazy that she ends up sucking up all the oxygen in the room. Conservatives are obsessed with her because they're always watching for the next thing she says because they want to know if it's going to be stupider than the last thing she said. And Democrats are watching her because they think she's this bold new breath of fresh air in politics. But besides, for me, in Canada, we already have our own dollar store version of her named Catherine McKenna. She's our environment minister, and she has crazy ideas about getting off fossil fuels and carbon taxes and revamping our economy to get away from natural resources. And she, too, also thinks that climate change is just going around murdering people. But man alive, AOC is getting hard to ignore. She's just not an intelligent person, and after this Daily Caller article that we're going to talk about today, I suspect her staff and those who prepare her questions for her are just as bright as she is. And everything AOC comes in contact with might end up dumber for having been in the same room as her. The Daily Caller caught this flub yesterday. In questioning the CEO of Wells Fargo in a hearing, for some reason, AOC brought up the Keystone XL pipeline and how Wells Fargo should be held responsible for any spills from a pipeline that they financed. Just watch.
They warned early on, the Lakota Sioux warned early on that the pipeline was unstable and bound to leak. Despite that, it was built anyway, and it has leaked at least 5 times. And the Keystone XL in particular had one leak that leaked 210,000 gallons across South Dakota.
Except AOC isn't correct. The Keystone XL pipeline has not leaked because it doesn't exist. It isn't built. The Daily Caller article clarifies the whole thing for us. The existing Keystone pipeline, that's Keystone, not Keystone XL, however, was responsible for a leak of up to 9,700 barrels of oil in South Dakota in 2017. So AOC has the wrong pipeline and the wrong spill amount. If AOC or her staff drafting the questions were really interested in the facts about Keystone XL and the timeline for building it, it's really just a Google search away. We know, of course, that Trump approved the Keystone XL pipeline in March of 2017 after roughly 8 or so years of regulatory hell thanks to the Obama administration. Or AOC could have just taken a peek at Canada's regulatory body for such things. The National Energy Board website dedicated to the Keystone XL project is where she could have found out that the Keystone XL is now going ahead with the winter 2019 clearing of trees and shrubs along the pipeline route's northern section. That's all they're doing right now. That's all the construction. According to this Global News article from this past fall, the developer of the Keystone XL pipeline, that of course is TransCanada, plans to start the construction next year, so 2019, after the U.S. State Department review ordered by a federal judge concluded that major environmental damage from a leak is unlikely and could quickly be mitigated. The company has already started preparing pipe yards, transporting pipe, and mowing parts of the project's right-of-way in Montana and South Dakota. But TransCanada said in court documents it does not plan to start construction in Nebraska in the first half of 2019. So the company's moving stuff around and cutting trees and grass. That's all Keystone XL is right now. It certainly isn't leaking unless trees now leak oil, and if they do, that's one heck of a game changer and less crazy than anything AOC has been saying lately. Now, let's put that 210,000 barrels of oil that AOC is concerned about into context. I know it seems like a lot, but at 30,000 barrels of oil per train car, that's only 7 train cars. Yeah, of course, it should not have happened. But these activists would measure these sorts of spills in the form of teaspoons if they could, just to make them seem even more horrendous. While AOC's testimony was a hilarious mistake and, of course, showed us her ignorance, it also showed us something else, something that conservatives, and really not just conservatives, but anybody interested in the truth about fossil fuel development, needs to be concerned about. What we see here is how lies, once repeated enough times, become a reality in the collective consciousness. This is why we need to fight lies, however insignificant they may be, when we hear them, and not ignore them until they become just part of the accepted narrative around energy production. Keystone XL has become such a pipeline boogeyman on the left, and especially amongst the celebrity left in the United States, you know, those who use and love fossil fuels the most, that they've now concocted disasters in their own minds that haven't even happened. They've made Keystone XL into the Jason Voorhees of pipelines because of their own irrational hysteria. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. What you just saw there is the daily video that I do here at the Rebel, but did you know that I have my own weekly full-length show? It's aptly called The Gun Show, and we talk about issues facing Canadian families in a way that you will never see done in the mainstream media. But to get access to my show and the rest of our incredible premium content, you should treat yourself to a Rebel subscription today.